everybody. Welcome to the Three Geeks podcast. Everybody is awake-ish, it looks like.
It was a struggle today. It was 15 minutes. I woke up 15 minutes ago. I was like, oh, God.
Dude, I wish I was able
You're on
to
mute,
sleep.
Max. What are you talking about?
I think he's eating.
Yeah. I just got done cooking breakfast. I'm just like happily going through my morning, taking my time, feeling good. How are you guys doing this fine Sunday morning?
Yeah, it feels like a Monday. It does feel like a Monday, like so bad. But I just got out for vacation. That was fun. We just had a bunch of holidays. That was fun. Did anybody get anything super exciting during their Christmas break?
I didn't do anything super exciting, but I did receive like 5 pairs of socks for Christmas, and I realized that I'm officially an adult because I could not have been more happy to receive socks. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest gift ever. Like, yeah, so I was like, okay, now I'm officially old because I really enjoy the gift of socks.
Right?
I had that same realization on my birthday. I was like, I want socks. I'm running out. Over break, I got LASIK, which was a lot of fun. So that's why no glasses. Yeah, no glasses. But yeah, that's a terrifying process, by the way. If anyone wants to get LASIK, don't listen to me. But like, it's 15 minutes of just a very interesting. It didn't hurt. Very interesting.
Interesting how? Like take us through.
Well, like it's creepy. It's very sci-fi, right? Like they vice grip your eyeball. They put like a suction cup on it. Like it's a whole, like it'll give you some anxiety for sure. They gave me 2 stress balls that I just had like a death grip on for like the whole time. And they check your blood pressure and make sure you're not going into cardiac arrest, I think, while you're going through it. But it's very fast, so it's 15 minutes of being uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt.
That's hilarious. Speaking of cardiac arrest, that was a pretty interesting thing on the Sports Nerds Fantasy Football League of Justice.
Oh yeah, Dev Hamlin, right? Oh my God.
Yeah. Like poor guy, friggin' has a heart attack on the field, and he's awake, he's breathing on his own, he's talking now. So, all our thoughts and prayers, all that bullshit, fucking for that guy. Get better, bro. Yeah, it was, it's interesting. So like Jason finally makes the finals and some dude has a heart attack on the field.
Ends his career.
And now I think we're going to do co-winner because the other player, like Jason didn't have any players in that game or maybe one.
Mm-hmm. But my best player was in that game.
Yeah, freaking the other guy had 4.
Oh.
Let me ask as a question, I agree. I think there should be a tie. I don't think I should win that way. But as a general question, what is the difference between that and like an injury? Because let's say those 4 players were injured in the game would continue as is, correct?
Yeah, but they like the difference is they weren't injured and they weren't allowed to play in a game that they could have. So like that's the difference. I think is that the potential is still there.
I did read because Yahoo Fantasy gave you some options, right? They like you could just do the average over the course of the past 4 weeks or however you wanted to do it, just of those players and see who wins that way. Like Jason gets the average of his guy, and the 4 players there get the average of their. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like assume that they're going to roughly do what they have been doing.
Right. I think Jason would have lost the game in that.
It would have been close because my dude was doing really well, but his dudes were doing well
his 4 dudes were also doing very well.
He won the championship. I imagine they're doing good.
Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do is just award it to both of them, and we'll let Jason have the trophy for a little while, and we'll let the other guy have the trophy for a little while. But all right, I'm going to. I guess we could cut it in half, but I don't want to do that.
just match the jigsaw, just like let's figure this out.
All right, I'm gonna get off of here and go up to my computer and do what I'm actually supposed to be doing. So.
All right, see you in 5 minutes.
Justin, Max, and Liz got me this.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God, dude, it is super sweet. I haven't
Yeah.
opened it yet. Of course, it's in the box, so I get to just stare at the box. I'm going to open it.
You should
I'm
buy that
going
flute
to
on the
play
side
it.
and just learn that little jig, and just like whenever you want to look at it, just like summon the Zord.
Well, I mean, but when you think about it, though, it's not really authentically playing it unless you're wearing a helmet while you play it.
Even as a child, I thought, like, how is he doing that?
Yeah, me too. I'm like, it's a metal face mask. Like,
Yeah, and if you
like
ever
bench.
played any instrument at all, you're like, this does not work. This does not work. All right, I'll be right back.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, so I got that. I'm trying to find a good place I can display it where Riley's not going to eat it. Because that is super cool. And then to go with the Power Rangers shirt they got me for my birthday, so it's perfect. I'm just gonna go around Comic-Con playing that.
You should. It makes sense.
But yeah, man, we haven't been live in quite some time. You said you watched the menu, right?
What?
You said you watched the menu?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love the menu. Menu was so good.
Oh, so good. It was on HBO Max, so I caught it, and it is like it's really hard to describe what kind of movie this is. It's a definitely a suspense thriller, I would say. It's not a horror
comedy
movie.
to me. I laughed quite a bit.
Did you? Because I didn't see the comedy until the end, and then I started to see the comedy because it's essentially like a spoof of like a Jordan.
Yeah, it's on the nose, right? It's If you ever worked, I think you. I mean, you worked in retail, so you worked in the service industry. I mean, to me, it's just a comical view of that, right? You have like different versions of your shittiest customer just kind of in that room and being served by the best chef in the world, right? Or one of them.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good. Anya Taylor-Joy just continues to surprise me in her performances and role picking. And John Leguizamo is in like everything.
I know, he really popped up. Yeah. I had the same thought when I was in the theater watching. I was like, man, he's in everything now, which is great. I like him.
I did. I liked him a lot in this movie. And I love the absurdity of some of the meals that they had and the show that they were kind of putting on throughout and man, Ray Fiennes is fantastic.
Yeah.
Not that anybody needs to know that. I'm sure everybody already knows how great Ray Fiennes is, but he's great. He came to play, and everybody in this movie did so good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They all represent a certain caricature you would expect in those kind of restaurants, minus maybe Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, which I think that was by design, right? I think it was supposed to show like how crappy these people can be. But
yeah,
it was really good. Yeah, I would encourage folks to watch, especially if you were ever a waiter in a restaurant. I imagine you'll get some interesting joy out of that movie.
Yeah, and some of the absurdity, like even the ending. I love the ending so much. I don't fully understand. Yes, I do, because she kind of mild spoiler alert. She kind of threw them off their rhythm, which was kind of like the whole point of everything. Was okay, we're gonna do this by the way that people usually expect us to do this, and then.
Well, also, I think it was very like they weren't trying to punish people that didn't need to be punished. Which I don't think it's too much of a spoiler. So it's just like they didn't know anything about her. So how are they gonna know if she deserves to be in that room or not? Type of deal.
Yeah, but great flick. 4.5 out of 5 is what I would rate it. Yeah. I had such a good time watching it. It might even be closer to a 5 because I honestly can't think of any reason why I would any negatives that I would point out that were kind of glowing, but it's a really good movie. Mm-hmm. HBO Max free if you guys own the subscription. Did you watch Violent Night, also starring John Leguizamo?
I sure did, and it was great. I love crazy Santa Claus.
No, man, it took literally Die Hard was like a good
Home Alone and Die Hard. Yeah.
3/4 of that movie, and then in the final fourth, it became more like cross between Home Alone and Die Hard. And all of the Home Alone sequences in this movie are like they're so good. And again, John Leguizamo from The Menu is in this movie, and
I think John Leguizamo is from Super Mario Brothers.
That's the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, that's where he's from. He's not from anything else.
We just talked The Menu. We just talked The Menu.
He's not from The Menu. No,
pulling them together, but
we're not ever going to let him.
We're
not ever going to let him forget that he was in Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
He was in something else this year, wasn't he?
No,
Just Chipmunk. I don't know why you're missing this. I'm sure he was.
No, yeah, he works.
What is he?
John Leguizamo works. Yeah, he's been in John Wick. Like, I mean, come on.
Well, until recently, I had not seen him in anything that's like super great. But this is two good movies back to back that he was in, and Violent Night is so much fun. Like I can't express how good. And he's playing the actual Santa Claus. Like it's not just a guy in a Santa suit, like in a Bad Santa. And it's got elements of Bad Santa mixed in this movie as well. And he does so good in the role.
John Leguizamo is Santa Claus?
No. He's the villain.
I was like, that's a take. Like, I'm down for that. Like, I just want to piss the world off. Like, let's do that.
No, it's David Arbor as Santa Claus.
Yeah, a Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yeah, for sure. No, I thought he was Santa Claus, but I was like, wait a minute, I haven't seen the movie yet. And I was like, that's awesome.
I was talking to some folks about that movie, and I mean, they said something I agree with. It's like that Santa Claus movie makes me want to see like a prequel of how he became Santa Claus, because he's like, this isn't really a spoiler. Like he has one flashback. He's like a Viking warrior. Like you just see him with that giant hammer just doing work. Like it's just like, all right, well, I want to see that movie.
I think David Arbor has got like this niche where he can play like the aging badass. You know, like where he's like he's right in there right now. Like he's still got the good like bod and everything, but he can also kind of dad bod himself, you know, and he can get halfway in between there and just do work. Like I love that guy. Like in the Black Widow movie, he plays the Crimson whatever the fuck Crimson Dynamo. No, Crimson Dynamo's a Iron Man knockoff. Fucking what's his name? Oh well, fuck it. But yeah, he's like right there. I love him.
Oh yeah, he was very good. I wish he had gotten a better script for Hellboy, because I really believed in him being Hellboy. Just not a good script for that.
Yeah, it just it didn't come together. I feel like it's hard to do a good Hellboy, and because I didn't really even like the second one.
Oh no.
No, I'm not a huge fan of it. I thought it was too much CG and a lot of spectacle for no reason. But,
too much Del Toro.
Yeah, you know, like sometimes they let him go a little crazy, but it's you know, again, like the first Hellboy I love. So it's just hard to do a good Hellboy.
It's nice to see you, Hot Take Orlando.
Yeah. John Leguizamo for Santa Claus.
I mean, sure.
All right, so
on pure like badass and fun, it gets the same as the menu on that level. I loved Violent Night.
It was a lot of fun.
All right, guys, let's talk it, because we didn't have a chance to talk about it, and that is Avatar 2. We all three saw it together. It is, I'm just going to get right out and say it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the movie theater, hands down. Like, just the whole epicness from the score to the film to the look is good. And yes, the story has been told before, but it's not like it's not an important story that we need to learn from. Like, it is something we should all take note of in this story. And I just, wow. Like, I left the theater, wow. And I wouldn't say I was a huge fan of the first one. Like, I liked it good enough, and I saw it, and I thought the spectacle was great, but I never had the urge to go back. Like, I can't wait to see Avatar 2 again in theaters.
I freaking love this movie. I love the first one. I am 100% down, because like this is what I keep talking about. Like, if you're gonna spend so much money making these movies, like why not just also make them good? Like James Cameron like never fails me. And obviously people go to see it and people are like, oh, the story's boring, but everyone went to see it still. Like everyone fucking went to see it still. So I like obviously like something's right here. Like I don't even see like what your problem is. No, I love it. I love the Avatar, the whole deal. I'm down for like the next 5 fucking movies. No, it's just really good, very well done. And like, you know, these people are like, it's full CG, and you're still getting all the emotion from it. You know, you're still getting, and I think that's another thing is where it's like people are like, how am I supposed to care about blue people? But it's like
Yeah.
You do.
You care about the Smurfs, you can care about him if they're a little taller. It's fine.
For sure.
Yeah, don't be putting out there that blue lives don't matter, because when we get invaded by blue aliens, they're going to see that footage and then they're going to burn you at the stake. But no, the only negative I have with this movie is that once it's out on home video, a lot of like the long shots of like just swimming and stuff isn't going to translate so well to your home theater system. But that's just a nitpick. Like,
it's every Avatar movie you're gonna have, right? The first one didn't look as good on my TV as it did in the theater, like the 3D.
No, there's a lot of like long shots where he's obviously just showing off like the technology and the beauty of the world. I'm just saying that won't translate.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like that's just James Cameron though. You know, like he cannot help but be himself, and it's like you see, like this movie's got little bits of Titanic. It's got little bits of fucking like Terminator 2 in there.
Bits of Titanic.
I mean, it's got like, yeah. What does James Cameron love doing? Getting in submersibles and going underwater. So what do we see? Hey, fucking people swoon with whales, people in submersibles underwater. Like I don't even think he can help himself.
Has Jim Cameron made a bad film?
No.
I refuse to believe he hasn't made a bad film. I'm sure there is a bad film. But
I think he made a
Justin, we're not friends anymore.
Because like Terminator 1, Terminator 2, I honestly have not seen True Lies, but I know that everybody
True Lies is amazing. I love that movie. I was watching that movie the other day.
As an adult and not a teenager who just wants to hate Leonardo DiCaprio because all the women love Leonardo DiCaprio, Titanic I even think is a great movie. Avatar is great. But I agree, it's such a beautiful world, and I the 3.5 hours, to me personally, it went by pretty quickly. And as soon as I left the theater, I think I told Max, I was like, I want to see that again. I can't wait to go back and visit. And if you're not seeing it in 3D, you're not doing yourself a favor. And the de-aging technology, I thought Sigourney Weaver was the only one playing young, but it was like Claire Danes playing one of the young people. Like it was all older people playing the young kids. And that just like blew my mind when I found that out later, because maybe you just got to be blue aliens for that de-aging technology to work, because they sure as heck found a way to make it work in this.
I agree. It's very sweet.
Yeah, I loved Sigourney Weaver's character. I liked her character more so in the second one than the first one, honestly. Max, you're muted. He loves to talk.
It's a different character. it's not. I mean, like, yeah, she's Sigourney Weaver, but like, she's playing a different person in this one.
No, 100%. It's almost like the clone thing from Orphan Black, where Max and I would be like, yeah, that's the hot one, and that's the. But she did so good. Like I said, they're all older actors, and you can't tell that any of them are older actors. Like I didn't know until I went home and saw like a thing on it, and it's just.
Who's the dude who plays Jake Sully? I can never remember this fucking Worthington something.
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington. That guy is the most vanilla fucking generic ass actor they could have found, and I'm still like, all right, Sam, like let's go. Like, and again, it's like that's not telling stories that it's like, okay, a father wants to like take care of his family and but like he still comes across very, very well, and it's still very like captivating and very like you see like they're all in it, and I think everyone just did a really, really good job. The kids whose names I can't remember are awesome. Little fucking dreadlock boy is great, and I love how he just throws a little dreadlock boy in there. Now that was a flex. That was a flex. He's like, oh, okay, like everything's CG except for dreadlock boy, and it all looks good.
I like his name. Like I can't even remember his name in the
Spider,
movie.
right?
Yeah,
sure,
there you go.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
His name mattered.
My question is Avatar the new Star Wars? Since Star Wars is now like a constant thing, is Avatar
over and above?
What's
Maybe.
that?
Let's not go crazy. Yeah, I mean they haven't had like the merchandising that Star Wars has, right? Like they haven't gone.
I just meant must see film. Like,
Oh.
It's something that you must go see because it's already at $2 billion.
I mean, maybe. I mean, let's see how 3 does, but it's probably because there was 11-year gap. Like, what in the world did we do for 11 years type of deal? But
Made technology better.
yeah, I mean, he definitely pushed forward CGI, I think.
What sucks to me is that like nobody else really like hopped on board. You know, like with the first Avatar movie, James Cameron was like, "You can shoot in 3D, like this is awesome!" Like, and nobody else is there. Was just like, "Nah, still too expensive, James." Like, we're gonna go this cheap route. Like,
the Jackass guys shot in 3D. For Jackass 3, it was shot with 3D cameras.
Yeah.
They used the technology.
I think right after Avatar, there were a couple 3D.
But they used James Cameron's old shit. They didn't like get new shit. They're just like, okay, now that shit is 11 years old, we can afford it. Fucking, we're using those.
That old crap, you can have that.
You know, it's like South Park was used with the same computers they used on fucking Jurassic Park. Okay, like literally.
It's funny, Justin. I want to point out that I saw Max yesterday. I'm like, we're gonna try to cuss less on the podcast starting tomorrow, and he's like, okay. And then, like, I think it's more than he usually does.
He's excited.
That was the first one, wasn't it?
It's like breathing to you.
That was the first one. I get one, don't I?
So I did hear, like, not to go on a tangent, but I was watching a video about other like YouTubers and stuff. Like, apparently, like the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, if you say any curse words, you automatically demonetize your video. So that is a thing. Like,
not
some type of thing that it tracks curse words. What?
I said we're working on monetization. Luckily, we're not there yet, but hopefully soon. So
it's more of a stricter policy because it was certain words before. Now it's like any curse word outside of maybe like ass and damn. Like
even the re with a tard at the end is also one that they flag you for. Like,
we shouldn't be saying that in general, unless
like, no. We were watching. We did Matt Talk yesterday, and that word was used in the episode from the 80s. And it's funny because I know we've all probably used it back then, and to watch Matlock and then to hear it with 2002 ears, it felt jarring, like hearing
2022 years.
It felt jarring. It's like sitting there watching like a movie with your mom that you know she doesn't want to watch, with like all the swearing and stuff, and you get uncomfortable. Like, that's the uncomfortable feeling I felt when I heard it. It was just so weird because 20 years ago I wouldn't have thought twice, and I should have. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're talking Avatar. Hey, Mike, how you doing, bud?
Hey. Sorry, I was having some internet connection issues, but yeah.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year to y'all.
You get anything fun for the holidays?
Yeah, I got some fun stuff. I mean, usually these days I just get like new clothes and stuff like that from the folks, so that's always a treat.
I love new clothes.
I do love new outfits.
Time I get new clothes is when my mom buys me new clothes, unless it's Comic-Con like shirts.
I gotta say, I got a kick-ass Christmas gift from my dad this year. I got him like an autobiography about David Bowie, but it's a graphic novel, and it's illustrated by what's his name, Mike Allred, the guy who does Mad Men.
Okay.
And he did like Ecstatics and things like that. So it's like a David Bowie like trippy graphic novel, but done in the style of like a Marvel comic or something. So
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah. So what do you guys rate Avatar out of 5?
Out of 5, I'm gonna give it a 4. For a National Geographic documentary that's also like an action-packed family movie. I gotta give it a 4 out of 5. It's so wonderful. I'm a huge fan of it.
I am gonna give it the same thing I gave The Menu, which is a 4.5, just because of the spectacle. When I watch it at home video, it's probably gonna drop it down to closer to what Max said. But just the experience of being in the theater, watching it with a bunch of people, and just the way it looks visually with the 3D and just everything, it was stunning. And I wasn't bored at all during the movie. And I can't believe I'm going to say this because I was not looking forward to Avatar 3. I cannot wait for the 3rd movie, and I heard they're going to go more fire with it. Is he making The Last Airbender and we just don't know it yet?
No, they don't. It's not like they wield the elements like the Airbender, or like the benders in the Airbender. But it's cool. I did like the subtle the variations on what's up, George.
So George.
It's like the water tribe, like like their hands are like more webbed, and then their tails are thicker for swimming, and like so they're adapted to their environment a little bit. I like that.
George
I like that a
agrees.
lot.
Couldn't believe it was 3 hours long.
I'm waiting for them to show like the regular people, like if like these are the forest Navi and these are the water Navi, like
the plains people or something.
No, like what if there's like just like there's Starbucks on that planet? It's like there's just like regular ass dudes like living there.
You guys have tails? I just have
They colonize themselves. Oh my god. Starbucks is the ultimate colonialization narrative.
Bring the pup cup to the air.
They're gonna fucking like Navi coffee. Like it's like, oh, this actually like fucking cures all disease and fucking like yada yada yada. Like it's like
you woke up with cancer. Don't worry, drink some coffee.
That was the new thing that they had in this movie that they mentioned like very briefly in the movie, like Fountain of Youth stuff from the whale, like whale oil is like Fountain of Youth stuff, right?
Or it doesn't de-age you, but it stops.
It stops your aging.
Yeah,
like that would have been actually like I don't know, cool to see. Because I totally forgot that that's what they were doing. Because I know in the first one it was unobtainium.
The mineral that's like you can use it for energy and all this stuff.
So are they just they're just gonna come back for a new thing every movie? It's gonna be like unobtainium, whale oil. Next is gonna be like I don't know, like an herbal mix or something.
Well, I mean, also it's like the first one. It kind of just expands on like what humans are doing on that planet. Because like the first one, it's this whole mining operation, but those whalers apparently were going the whole time. And it's so.
So is fracking going to be next? Probably, you think, or what's the next horrible thing that humans and especially white people are going to do? I'm honestly trying to think like what the big environmental threat for the third one's going to be.
Yeah, I don't even know. And then like also like what is the next adaptation of Navi? Like where like you're saying fire? Like are there like volcano fucking Navi? Like do they?
Emissions. That's what's going to be. If it's going to be like volcano and stuff, they're going to find a way to harness like the volcanic energy to like put out more of a carbon dioxide like emission or something.
Or it's going to be like this will actually clean up all the air in 5 minutes on Earth. Like we got to kill all these people to get it.
We have to destroy this planet to save our own.
Yeah, Mick says it's going to incorporate fire. Yeah, that's what I read too. I think I read it on your site, Mick. Justin, what did you rate this?
I think it's a solid 4. I mean, it's beautiful. Go see it in the theaters. Go see it in 3D. I mean, I think I'm gonna like this one much more than the first one for the long haul. But yeah, I think it's 4.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have a lot more rewatchability as well. I agree.
Speaking about the anti-aging thing, I did really like that as like a plot device or whatever. There's a book I read called the Post-Mortal, where like the humans discover how to stop aging and what happens after that. And yeah, I agree with my guys. Like I think that'd just be a really interesting thing to see like on Earth. Like you see these like Nosferatu looking like old white dudes freaking because they're gonna be the only ones who can afford it, right? Like
this has all been leading towards James Cameron being like, I want to make Nosferatu. Forget the Northman guy, I want to make Nosferatu.
Just
for sure.
Yeah, that's what I just said, Mick. People are making fun that he's making Avatar and incorporating all elements.
But I
we'll
mean,
see.
Like,
that'd be a twist.
It's cool because like the overarching story is like hey, like we the people of Earth are actually the Na'vi. Like we could have been them, and instead we're this. And so like that he's taking a whole movie to like show every element. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like sequential and then yada yada yada. But like also it's like hey man, fucking we could be this connected to our planet. We're just not. We chose not to be.
Justin, what comic books have you been reading?
I just read The Canary, which is a comicsology like original. I really liked it. It's based in Utah. It's like a Western, but with a little bit of a twist. Not really a surprising twist, but it's like people are starting to act like strangely. Like the start of the comic book, I won't spoil it, but like it starts with a murder. Right, the first panel is just a U.S. Marshal. Like looks exactly to me, it looked like Clint Eastwood. Right, so they're taking it right out of like the Western style of Clint Eastwood's face, but him investigating a murder. And it kind of just leads down a path of like, hey, it all comes back to a canary mine. It's called a mine called Canary, and there's different waterways that work back to it. And it seems like people that are around those waterways are starting to act kind of terribly. Like the lady was murdered by a child, right? That's the first page, so it's not spoiler. Like it, and just how people are starting to change and be kind of turning into monsters. And it has a very reptilian kind of angle because it hints at different like snakes and Gila monsters and things like that, and how that it feels like they're trying to protect it, or maybe they're kind of related. So I don't know if there's reptile people coming, but it feels like that's kind of what they're leading to. But I don't know. First issue is fun.
Canary.
What's the name again? Canary.
Canary.
Okay, I read the first trade paperback of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I'm digging it. I'm so digging it. And
there's a shock. There's a fucking shocker.
Sorry. Everybody knows I was a Power Ranger fan growing up, but the added element of like this, it's post Tommy's like possession by Rita, but the element of Rita is still inside his head during this transformation, like this PTSD that he's going through. It adds a layer to it, and they have parents. Like there is actual layers to the comic book than there was in the show. Like the parents get threatened, like you'd expect it. Just seeing Tommy deal with the PTSD and trying to get Rita's like out of his head, and I find it very fascinating. I'm halfway through the volume 2, and I'm digging it. It's better than, it's like we said with the Power Rangers movie. This movie was better than a Power Rangers movie should ever be, and this comic book is better than anything Power Rangers I've seen thus far.
Cool.
I love that element. Like he's still
that's cool too, and that's like what's really missing from a lot of the Power Rangers stuff is like what makes these like what makes them actually people. like okay, you get called up to do this great thing and you got to like trek across the universe, but it's like yeah, but you're also still people, right? like and that's why I think everyone was so in love with that little short that came up like a couple years ago, where like all the Power Rangers are fucked up and like the Black Rangers like doing coke off hookers' asses and stuff, and it's all like crazy, they're like, oh okay, like so they're people, okay, awesome. Like I think that's like what they're missing in a lot of the Power Ranger stuff, just like being advertised, being for kids.
Yeah, well, it's a half-hour show meant for kids. It's like it's not gonna delve too deep into psychological stuff too much. I mean, there are kids shows that do that, but Power Rangers is like, let's have fun, let's sell toys, let's borrow as much Japanese footage as we can.
Yes.
And so like,
sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Justin.
It would be fun if the boys just did like a spin-off episode of just their version of the Power Rangers and just like
what that
would look like.
That would be great. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's actually
another thing.
Oh.
I was gonna say another thing in the show that they did is like right after he was done being bad, they just all accepted him as good. But in the comic book, they're all very apprehensive, like what's happening? Why is this guy suddenly working with us? Like 2 hours ago, he was trying to kill us. Like what changed? And they're going through that as well as a team, like trying to figure out if they can even trust him. And then, finding out Rita's still in his head. It adds some interesting dynamics that was definitely not on the show. You reading anything fun, Max?
No, I have not been into like much comics right now. I'm doing the whole family man thing. Like I get like 2 hours, and most of that is occupied by Overwatch. So I've not read anything new recently. No.
Overwatch 2, how is it so far?
I'm loving it. I'm back in it. There are some problems with the game, but it's mostly like the game itself is fine. It's still Overwatch. I enjoy like all the different maps and all the different. The new characters are fun. But the problem is, like, they went away from the loot box. They went free to play, so that's awesome. Everyone can play Overwatch 2. But they don't do loot boxes anymore. They do this battle pass thing. You pay $10. It's like $10 every 3 months or every like 2 months and some change. And see, it ends up being $60 in a year if you're just getting the battle pass. But then, like, you earn skins as you go up to, you earn like 8 skins, and but you have to buy all the other skins that they come up with. But the pricing on the other skins is ridiculous. It is absolutely brutal. And it's like the money you can earn just from playing the game, it'll take you like a year and a half to earn enough money to buy a skin with. So that kind of sucks. And they really do need to revamp that. But they got me with one of them. I was like, crap, I gotta get this skin. Like, and it's like, if it's characters that I don't play, like, they, like, I don't really have an issue. Like, I'm like, all right, that's a cool skin, but like, I don't need it. But yeah, when they hit a character that I play and it's a super sweet skin, like, I'm in trouble because it's $20 for a skin. And like, if you think about if you're buying the battle pass every time, that's $60 in a year, which is what you'd pay for the game. But then, like, you buy 2 skins, you're at $100 you spent, and just like that. Like, it's a bit troublesome in that aspect, and I really wish they would, if you play so much, you are like giving your time to this, and you are making, like, you are giving them something in having the community. So, like, I don't know, I feel like you should earn more just from playing the game, and maybe make the little prices, or if they bring down the prices so that the stuff that you're earning can actually buy you stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, that's the main problem with the game is that, like, they are in full cash grab mode, and like they are worried that they're not going to hit their quotas, like, because, like, well, if we're not selling the game for $60, like, what are we going to do? And also Blizzard has had a lot of trouble recently as a company. They've had a lot of issues, so you see that reflected in the pricing, and that's the worst part of the game.
Well, I think the pricing is reflective of the kids' parents who keep paying for this crap.
Oh, I mean, like they got me. It's not even the kids' parents. It's like,
Mike, you reading or playing anything right now?
Yeah, I've been rereading some graphic novels here and there. I was rereading this book I got last Christmas, actually, called All of the Marvels, which is it's this guy who's actually trying to lay out an actual chronological history of the Marvel universe, like, and really, it's a challenge because he's really kind of considering, like, okay, what is considered canon, what isn't, because comics get reset or retconned like every few years or so. So it's actually interesting to see him, like, try to parse out, like, what elements of each team or each character he's trying to consider, like, canon, as it were. It's a really interesting read about, like, the comics industry overall, and, like, the ever changing trends and history of Marvel especially. So I was rereading that. For some reason, I was very masochistic last week and watched, like, each day I watched a different Transformers movie. I don't know why. There's only two that I consider, like, actually okay. Bumblebee is actually, like, a legit good movie. It's not like Shakespeare or anything, but it's actually like a movie that has, heart and character and gets you invested in the characters.
I agree.
And then the first one, just because it's not as annoying as the other 5 that come after it. Like, all the character traits that I hate in the other Transformers movies are downplayed in the first one. Like, Shia LaBeouf, he's doing annoying shit, but he isn't as annoying as he gets. Yeah, he doesn't get to that point quite soon enough. Like, John Turturro is fine in the first one. He's not, again, annoying. The parents aren't annoying at that point, or as annoying as they get. Like, everything, but I can definitely be like, this is so stupid. Why am I watching this? I'm just like, I just need something dumb on my TV, apparently. But
I mean, like, as a Buckeye fan, I kind of understand, like, needing to just kind of like turn your brain into mush a little bit and just kind of like not feel anything anymore. I 100%.
Well, I think that's what it was. It was like my brain was like listen, in December you watched a lot of depressing stuff. Like I watched the Banshees of Inisherin and all these movies that are about like mortality and just feed into my anxiety about that. They're good. They're good movies. Like I like Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. That's a beautiful movie. But at the very end of it, it's like, yeah, we're all dust in the end. I'm like, Jesus. So I just needed to see something stupid in the new year. I'm like, let's watch stupid stuff in the new year. And the Transformers movies, I don't know why. I was laughing at how dumb they were. I wasn't laughing at any of the actual jokes, but I was just like, TJ Miller got turned into an iron statue. That's hilarious because fuck that guy.
For sure. I mean, like the first Transformers movie, there was that 10 seconds where Optimus is fighting that Decepticon underneath the overpass, and it is freaking sweet. I was like, this is Transformers.
But he also is like, oops, sorry, my bad. And like the Transformers, they're like demolishing this poor kid's house, and they're supposed to be like these ultimate stealth warriors, and he's like, Autobots, fall back.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like there are not many redeeming qualities, if any at all, to the Transformers movies. And like I'm hoping Michael Bay never gets work. Like no offense, Michael Bay, you just make shit movies.
Apparently that ambulance movie is just tons of fun. Like I don't mind seeing dumb action for dumb action's sake, and I'll say like the dumb action is on full display in the first Transformers movie really well, and then after that I just kind of lost interest in any other action spectacles because it's just like, what can we amp up more and more? Like the more creative control Michael Bay got in these movies, the less engaged I got. Like the first one definitely felt like a collaboration of people.
I don't know if you could call it creative control.
I'll give him this.
It is control. I don't know about creative.
He's clearly a commercial director. Like he shoots for spectacle and it works for the most part in most of his movies. It's when you let him have too much of that it gets on your nerves or it gets grating. Like if he's balanced out with, some other elements in the production, it's fine. But like the second Transformers movie happened during the writer's strike. So he had a little bit more leeway to just be like, fuck it, I'm putting all this other stuff in. And so that's why you got stuff like the racist twin robots, probably, or a lot of not so flattering stereotypes elsewhere. And what's her name turns into a robot or turns into a Decepticon, and it's like really gross and weird that she has like a flailing metal tongue or something. It's like, tell us how you really feel about women, Michael.
Was it the second or the third one that had the giant wrecking balls?
That was the second one. Yeah. That was what's his name? Devastator or something. Yeah.
A poor, like
John Turturro's like, I'm directly beneath enemy scrotum.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And then you have Jetfire, who's like this old Transformer who farts out a parachute. Because get it, old people fart a lot.
Right. Yeah, no, that's funny.
I've seen Transformers 1, I've seen 2, I've seen parts of 3.
3 is hilarious. 3 is hilarious because they try to make McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy a villain, and that's just that's adorable.
I remember 3. The parts I saw were slightly better than 2. I saw parts of 4. It was practically unwatchable, and then I fell asleep.
Again, 4 has some elements that are okay. Like I don't mind Mark Wahlberg being the lead because Mark Wahlberg, I know our favorite person, Mark Wahlberg.
Hey.
Because he can play dumb action lead like nobody's business, and that's fine. It's really fucking weird that they gave him this. They give him this subplot where his daughter, who was what's her name in the Airbender movie, Katara. Yeah, his daughter is in like they have to like dedicate 5 minutes to her and her boyfriend, who's like way older than her, and it's like there's the Romeo and Juliet law here in this state, which means minors can have like, why are we focusing on this? Why is this a thing in the Transformers movie? This is fucking weird.
Michael Bay. Like what is it?
Again, tell us how you really feel about underage relationships, Michael Bay.
gross. You know, like I'm so like there's a lot of just like super cringy things. Like if you spend 4 seconds thinking about it in any of these Transformer movies, you're just like, like why?
But again, Bumblebee, totally fine. Like
But
I'm
that
actually,
wasn't Michael Bay, was it?
he produced it. Like
Okay,
he's still involved in these movies as a producer, but you know that means basically like he'll just be like, yeah, take some ideas here, make sure you pay me. That's it. Like I'm looking forward to what's the new one, the Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, I actually they caught my eye with that one, and I'm like, okay, like I'm not a fan of you guys actually advancing this Michael Bay Transformers universe, but this looks good. Or I didn't say good, but like
I mean, it's
I'm
a
interested.
it's essentially a reset because like I think it takes place in the 90s, and like at this point, Optimus Prime and all of them are on Earth. Like I do remember watching Beast Wars when I was younger, and liking Beast Wars. So I'm curious.
Beast Wars is actually what got me into Transformers. The 80s cartoons, you know, like I knew the idea of Transformers. I definitely played. I had a neighbor who had like all of the freaking toys, and that was awesome. You know, like the old school metal ones, like. But the show I didn't really watch that much. Beast Wars, I watched that like religiously, and I watched it like again as an adult.
It holds up.
Yeah, like the animation is kind of mad just because like they're in that like
Yeah.
CG kind
Well, it's the same studio that did Reboot, so
right. So yeah, it doesn't hold up the greatest, but like I really dig it. I also so they're like we're gonna go Beast Wars. I'm like okay, I'm down. I'm very reluctantly down, but I want it to be good. Also, actually, Magic the Gathering just put out a bunch of Transformers themed cards. But I think they mishandled it. It's like nobody can do Transformers right. So they released this set, and you can get extra cards in it that are Transformers cards, but the Transformers cards aren't playable in the standard or anything like that. They're not really playable in a lot of formats. So I was surprised when they released them in like the regular packs and stuff like that. They really should have just made it its own thing, like they did with Warhammer 40K, like they're going to do with Lord of the Rings. So I was a little disappointed in that. But like you can get a magic card that's freaking Megatron and he transforms into a tank, and it's awesome.
that's pretty cool.
I have a feeling you're going to see more of that now that Hasbro owns.
Yeah. They're killing it together to me. There's too much stuff coming out too fast.
Yeah, no, it's for they are definitely kind of just like fracking the magic industry. They're in full cash grab and they're not doing it well. Like again, they could release these other sets and like I love Magic the Gathering. I love its play style and the rules. I think the game is fun. I you know, like me personally being a sci-fi guy, I like the other stuff that they're doing, but I understand that you know, like Magic was made for D&D players. It was made as a fantasy thing, and they're losing their core. They're kind of betraying their core people with this stuff. But I mean, like I'm down. Like if you want to make an extra Transformers set that's not within Magic, but has the Magic rules, I'm down. Like I love that. But you know, like I also understand, like you know, hey, like there's guys who want to like have orcs fight elves and do these things. Like it's so yeah, like they're not handling it well. It's definitely all cash grabby. But I'm 100% for the GI Joe style Magic. Like give me that.
It's coming, man.
Snake
Pretty soon
Eyes is
Jinx
just
is
like
going to be on that card.
Snake Eyes is just near invincible at that point or something.
Oh, dude. I mean, like I love ninjas. I love ninjas and magic. I'm a huge fan of the Kamigawa sets. So there are ninjas and magic. There's a baseline for you to get Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow in there. Let's go.
Speaking of toys, how weird is it that I would be so excited to see a Barbie movie. Like, did anyone see that trailer?
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it looks awesome.
Like, that's so weird. Like, if you were to go back in time and tell like 8-year-old me, like, you're gonna be excited to see a live action Barbie movie, like unironically. Like, it won't be like, that's stupid. Like, this looks glorious for some reason to me.
And
I don't know why.
corresponding with the Barbie movie, we're getting Barbie Magic the Gathering cards very, very soon. You can play as Trucker
Oh,
Ken.
God. Malibu fucking Ken.
When Power Rangers hit Magic the Gathering, Max, let me know.
Yeah, it's yeah, hopefully, again, like I like that stuff, but they need to do it correctly. Like, they don't need to release it as their normal sets. They don't need to release them as anything, like within the main canon of Magic or whatever. Like, but I'm so down for this extra stuff. I saw
Talking to us again.
the cooler toys were in the 70s. Okay.
George, the cooler toys
Yeah,
in the
lawn
70s were
darts.
all Barbie dolls.
Nah, the 80s has it for coolest toys. Like, they had the most synergy with television and the coolest toys. They were like a little bit dangerous, like some of them had lead paint, like whatever.
Reagan years, man.
We survived.
Yeah, like we're fine. Like, look at us.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up there. I want to thank everybody from tuning in. Hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and hit that bell. And I also want to plug VGMX Nerd
Emporium.
Thank you. Go to their YouTube page. I got so mad at Max yesterday because I thought he was the one doing the editing for that channel. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, you can do this style editing and you haven't told any of us.
No.
But it was not him.
I'm just the talent. Again, like it's the same as here. I'm just the talent. Like, I don't do any technical work. If you count on me for anything, I'm gonna be late and wrong. So please don't.
Yeah, George, lead paint. We just had some kicks for breakfast and it knocked it all out. We were fine.
That's not true. Lead paint takes
We were in fear about Russia, and that made everything all the more patriotic. Come on.
Yeah.
We're turning back to that.
Yeah, we're coming back to that, actually. Holy shit.
80s are back, guys.
Oh, God. Getting a little political. The Speaker of the House business, I am loving. I mean,
it's all done. It's all done now, dude.
Yeah,
so.
he finally got it after like 16 votes, I think.
15. It was 15, but yeah, it was
15. Yeah.
Like,
well, no, now it's the scary part because now they're actually going to quote unquote go to work. So
right,
and that's going to be a big waste of time too. So
I've been loving it. Like, I love the just the sheer chaos of it. I'm just like, yes, I'm down for that.
George, congratulations, man, on going to WOBL Radio for the Perfect 10. We can't wait to hang out. You guys will still be able to catch the replays at the same time on 3 Geeks and on George's Perfect 10 channel. So find those and check out Mike at youtube.com/Mike McGTV. Shout out to Mick, who was in the chat earlier. Check him out at the Scene Snobs, and all of us. We love you. We adore you. I've got 2 awesome interviews dropping this week from 2 of the actors from Three Pines that Justin and I had a chance to interview. And if you're down for, I'd say, a little slower burn mystery TV, it's a really good show. Check it out. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, they were great.
Yes. And we will chat with all of you guys later.
Recycle
Enjoy
your joy.